Chapter 1. The fugitive Colt Seavers is hired to track down Eddie Fast Eddie Reynolds, a con artist with a knack for high-speed getaways and a history of evading law enforcement. Eddie has just pulled off a major heist in Atlanta and fled to Hazzard County. Colt, with Howie and Jody in tow, drives into Hazzard in his iconic GMC truck. Along the way, Howie tries to impress Jody with his knowledge of small-town life, much to her amusement. Meanwhile, Eddie meets with Boss Hogg, offering him a share of the loot in exchange for protection. Boss Hogg agrees but secretly plans to double-cross Eddie. Chapter 2. A clash of styles, Colt visits Cooter's garage, hoping to gather intel about Eddie. Daisy Duke arrives, curious about the flashy new stranger in town, and strikes up a conversation with Colt. Bo and Luke Duke overhear Colt's questions and mistake him for a bounty hunter working for Boss Hogg. They decide to tail him to make sure he doesn't cause trouble for the town. Eddie makes his first escape. Colt corners him at the boar's nest, but the Duke boys inadvertently help him flee during a chaotic bar fight. Colt's frustration grows as he realizes the Dukes aren't just interfering, they're good at it. Chapter 3. The chase is on. A high-octane chase unfolds through the winding roads of Hazzard County. Colt's precision driving in his stunt truck clashes with the Duke's daring maneuvers in the General Lee. Flashbacks of Colt's Hollywood stunt days showcase his ingenuity as he uses ramps and terrain to gain an advantage. The Dukes counter with their intimate knowledge of Hazzard's hidden shortcuts. Colt catches up to Eddie again, but is thwarted by Roscoe P. Coltrane and Enos, who think Colt's the troublemaker. Eddie vanishes once more. Chapter 4. Unlikely allies, Bo and Luke confront Eddie at an abandoned barn and realize he's been lying to everyone. They try to bring him in themselves, but Eddie escapes by stealing a dirt bike. Colt catches up to the Duke boys and demands an explanation. After a heated argument, the group agrees to work together. Daisy and Jody bond over their shared frustration with the men's recklessness. Boss Hogg, realizing Eddie plans to leave town without honoring their deal, puts a bounty on Eddie's head, complicating matters further. Chapter 5. The final stunt. The Dukes and Colt set a trap for Eddie, using Boss Hogg's greed as bait. Daisy lures Eddie to a remote location under the pretense of splitting the loot. The final chase includes jumps, crashes, and a climactic sequence where Eddie's car is forced into a stunt ramp that sends him airborne into a waiting haystack. Roscoe and Enos arrive to arrest Eddie but bungle it hilariously before finally cuffing him. Boss Hogg's attempt to claim the loot backfires when the FBI shows up, tipped off by Howie. Chapter 6. Parting Ways. With Eddie captured and the loot recovered, Colt prepares to leave Hazzard. He shares a respectful handshake with the Dukes, acknowledging their skills and integrity. Daisy playfully kisses Colt on the cheek, leaving Howie jealous and Jody rolling her eyes. The Dukes promise to keep their driving a notch above Colt's stunts, while Colt vows to return to Hazzard someday for a more peaceful visit. The episode ends with Colt pulling off a final stunt jump over the General Lee, cementing his exit in true Fall Guy style.